Arc Raiders. I love it. You love it. It's in the background. We're here for Arc Raiders. This isn't a show-off video or a paid promotion or any sort of advertisement. You already know it's a good game already. It's been out for 7 months at this point. This video has been delayed for 7 months at this point. This is a lore video, but it's not a video specifically about anything in the game. This is a cleanup operation of the oil spill of misinformation and lies that have seeped all through the community. We're going to go through a few things in this video. I just want to make it abundantly clear that this video is purely a cleanup operation on lore. This isn't a lore video itself. If you want actual lore videos in this style, I'd be happy to do that, because I like making these fun little models, little blue hand. Look at that, shiny. But this video is purely to sponge the misinformation. There's no better way for me to transition from the intro to the first segment other than just to introduce the problem with the first segment. We're jumping straight into it. The reason the Emperor is immediately the first thing here is because the Emperor does not have a name. The name Emperor is made up. That is not canon and it's not official, it's just a widespread name. The origin of the name Emperor came from this size chart. And this size chart came around during the first week of Arc Raiders' release. And it has stained the community to the point where nobody calls it anything else. And just to dig around a little bit into the size chart, the Queen is the only correct thing about this entire size chart. I don't mean size-wise. I'm pretty sure that Raider to Queen ratio is way off. But the middle Baron there, come on. Come on. It's the matriarch from the launch trailer. The King on the right, however, doesn't exist. It was mentioned 4 years ago in the reveal trailer, I believe, and it has never been brought up since. It has never existed since. There is a little bit of evidence to provide that it could still be around, but currently not a thing. The Emperor name is tied to the largest entity in the background there, and you can guess. It's just another scaled up queen, because that's how much effort we're putting into TikTok. So as we've established, there is no official name for this behemoth of an arc. The official lore community, though, has coined a new term for it. We like to call it the GOOBA. Pausing for comedic effect. I hope this is working. Cut this out in production. But GOOBA, giant out of bounds arc. GOOBA, or giant out of map boundary arc, if I want to get sued by Nintendo. But it's what we've named it just as a placeholder until it actually does get an official name. And GOOBA is just funnier than Emperor in all accounts. GOOBA. Look at GOOBA. GOOBA. Big GOOBA. It's thick. One more thing about the GOOBA before we move on. There is a growing rumor that they've been getting closer to the playable area. The truth is they haven't. Ever since the beginning of the game, back in November, they have always been off in the distance. They've always been that close in the tutorial. They've always been that close in Bluegate. They are walking in the ocean in Buried City. And only recently have they been spotted in Riven Tides, but it's still in pairs of two. They always travel in pairs of two. They always have been. The finals. This one, I'm going to be incredibly blunt. The two games are not connected. It's pretty easy to get that misconception because it's made by Embark and Embark's logo is on both of them. They're both owned by Embark, and they did have a crossover event, but it was called a crossover event. It's not, these two games are not canonically connected at all. Now, I know there's a bit of pushback there with people who are really into the two games being connected, because on a blank piece of paper, it would make sense for them to be connected. But I'm going to run through a few dot points to why that's not accurate. Okay, first of all, the finals is set in 2100. That's the year the game is currently taking place, where you load into a game, it's 2100s. We don't know the exact date or year. It's just within that time frame. Whereas Arc Raiders is taking place in 2181. 81 years after the estimated date. Like, on paper, this makes sense. Arc Raiders is set in the future where capitalism has already destroyed the world, and the finals is also set in the future where capitalism has also destroyed the world. But, like, I can see on paper, like, Arc Raiders is the future, the finals is down here. That makes sense. But the collapse of society for Arc Raiders happened around 2081 down here. That's not... If this were the case, the finals would not exist. Like, if this were the case. The point is, it's not the case. Anyway, back to 2081. This is the Exodus. But we're going to put 6 years on either side, because this isn't a departure date, per se, for the Exodus itself. This is the time period for when the Exodus happened. We don't know the actual date. So 6 years on either side, that gives us a rough estimate. In between there, that's still, at minimum, 13 years. That is still 13 years. And if the ruined world looks like this, while the finals is a virtual game show, like, they still have power, electricity, the Hyperloop system, I will not elaborate on that. And, like, they have a society. Arc Raiders does not by 2100. 2100, everyone is either dead, starving, or surviving. Now, the defense that the opposition brings up, given this evidence, is that the finals is taking place in space, potentially. It's... I mean, there's a few reasons why not to think that. There's only a handful of cosmetics that even allude to the game taking place in space. Like, not even the game itself. You have the orbital colony of Brazil, which may be a whole thing in the finals universe. I mean, that hasn't been mentioned yet in Arc Raiders, but why would Brazil be mentioned in Italy? They're the only orbital colony, as they call themselves. And they...
Hi, yeah, me again. Or if this is the first time you're seeing me, not me again. Time travel is weird. I keep saying the orbital colony of Brazil. It's actually called ROB, Republica Orbital Brazil, or something. I'm not currently looking at a picture, so it's on the screen. Alright, just trust that. I keep saying colony for some reason. I was not looking at my script for this entire segment. I was rambling. I'm sorry.
Have this segment of numbers 220387 usually written on the cosmetic somewhere. And from first glance, that's a date, right? The 22nd of March 2087, which does go in line with the Exodus 6-year gap I put. Just. So, like, potentially, right? But, I mean, at the same time, this could be 1987. And that could be one of the Embark's developers' birthdays. Like, we don't know. That's what I'm getting at. We don't know what that means. Embark recently put out some shorts with the radio broadcasts. They are dated to 2081. Now, that is spot on the Exodus time period, right? But just take a quick listen. I'm not gonna play the full thing. It's on YouTube Shorts. I'm pretty sure it's on TikTok, Instagram. Just go listen to the full thing if you want to.
And before we leave you tonight, we bring you a story that's lighting up social feeds across Northern Europe. Reports have been pouring in of a mysterious glow seen on the horizon last night, prompting some residents to wonder if a wildfire had broken out. For more on the story, we go now to our correspondent Kadri Sar, reporting from Northern Estonia.
Thanks, Hannah. What many people initially believed was a forest fire, or perhaps a volcanic eruption, turned out to be something rather more educational. Behind me is what remains of a campsite used yesterday by a local 5th grade class during a school wilderness excursion. According to teachers, the students were preparing a traditional evening campfire when one of the chaperones accidentally used Disson's Redstream industrial ignition compound instead of a standard fire starter. Witnesses say the resulting flames rose almost a mile into the air. Luckily, the class and teachers were propelled into a nearby lake by the initial blast. Authorities soon dispatched fire crews and observation drones.
So that's like 70% of it. I only cut off the ending. But it mentions Northern Europe, Northern Estonia specifically, Disson Redstream high performance fuel compound, and we're in southern Italy, in South Calabretta, in the Rust Belt. These broadcasts are dated to 2081, which is the exact year of the Exodus. And neither Disson doesn't exist in Arc Raiders. Their only reference or Easter egg is an achievement background. But Disson is like a fuel company, and they control the fuel market basically in the Finals universe. They are not mentioned at all in Arc Raiders apart from that background image on an achievement. We have Ospoos instead. Hi, yeah, future me here with the beard. I fucked up. I said Ospoos. Ospoos is a drink company in the Finals, which also doesn't appear in Arc Raiders. I meant to say Nexafuel. Continue. We have a replacement company because Disson doesn't exist. And also, this background art is way back from this robot image, which the robot doesn't exist as well. This is a 4-year-old promotional art image, which anything from the 4-year-old trailer can't be considered canon in-game. I'll go into that later. But Disson does not exist canonically as of any evidence being provided, because there is none. The next point I want to bring across is my personal biggest point, because unlike the timeline that can add more information as we discover the history of both games, the world cannot change like that. The Finals has mobile phones. They use them in that universe. They are dated to 2022. They are an accessory in the game now because they've become obsolete with brain chips from Via. Like, we've gotten to the technological point where you can put a mobile phone in your brain. We've gotten to the technological point where we can brainwash people with these chips. We control people now. And we have, like, the Hyperloop system. The world of the Finals is crazy. They are able to engineer a fruit out of trash.
Tiger fruit.
Like, what? The Finals technology far exceeds our own. Like, our real-life technology. Our mobile phone is ancient to them now. Which makes sense. They're in 2100. But in Arc Raiders, these mobile phones that were so ancient to them do not exist. The Finals in Arc Raiders are so different on technological levels that there's no way they can be connected. The Finals has the Hyperloop system, which I still won't elaborate on, and Arc Raiders has radios and cassettes and portable TVs, and it's just crazy. Like, and if all this tech were to exist, like, for example, if the two were connected somehow, how do you explain a utopia where all this tech exists at the same time, and then suddenly, within a 20-year-ish time gap, this is what's left behind? You cannot convince me that this is the same planet or the same universe. Look, there's multiple flat-screen TVs, server rooms that don't even, these are advanced tech shit. You even have, the stand-up TV, what do you call these things? I know they have a name. Hang on, I'm going to Google it. Digital standing advertisement TV thingy. A floor stand. That sounds about right. Floor stand. They have floor stands, but Arc Raiders doesn't have a single TV or any flat screen technology. Another fun tech one is in the Fangwei City. This is a map that is dedicated to the year 2030. So everything in here would be inspired by the time period of 2030s in the Finals universe. There are server rooms that actively have temperature-controlled cooling, and it's all advanced. I'm not really into servers, but these look advanced as hell. Now compare that to Arc Raiders. Yeah. These aren't the same. Like Fangwei City, 2030. 50 years later. I'll do it again. 2030, 2080, 2030, 2080. It don't line up. Just to be clear, if this feels like it is a one-sided argument, like this is targeted towards one person, it is. The sponsors and companies, this is going to be a large portion of the video, I can tell. This is mostly just going to be me rambling, as if every other part before this hasn't been. There is only 2 confirmed, I repeat, confirmed brands that accompany each other. Not really a company, they just get mentioned between the two. They are the only 2 brands that are mentioned between the both games. And they both appear on a cosmetic from Season 2. Jiangsu Ragmagna and Ranzio. Ranzio appeared earlier on a cosmetic in Season 1 on this helmet, and on Didi in Season 5. But the most recent installment of Ranzio is on the King Zero outfit, which the lore chat in the finals unanimously agrees that it's not lore relevant. Any of the description. It's the outfits for this, the Majors 2025, I believe. They're all just copy and pasted with a different company on each outfit. So none of that is lore relevant. So the last official mention was in Season 5 on the DD outfit. DD is a very important character in the finals. Season 5 still came out in 2024, December of 2024. Arc Raiders is still in development. Now, you might recognize this logo. And that's because this logo for Ranzio, which has no information in the finals, like if you were solely to look at the finals and ask, what is Ranzio? There is nothing. You only have a few stickers on their brand. That's it. But in Arc Raiders, the word Ranzio has never been mentioned once. It's just the logo. And it's called the Raider logo. The Raider symbol. If you stare at the lobby long enough, waiting for a queue, you'll see it on the TV in the background. It's the main symbol for us Raiders in Arc Raiders. But the name Ranzio hasn't been mentioned. So whether it's just a reuse of the logo or it looks intentional, but it doesn't look to be intentionally connected. Because Ranzio has nothing. Nothing that could connect us to Arc Raiders and the finals. It's just the logo, the symbol is there. Now the other one, Jiangsu Ragmagna, I'm definitely butchering that name. It's different because it's on the same Holto insured driver outfit. But then it just never appears again. It just vanishes. It's gone. Nada. Poof. It only appeared in Season 2 on that outfit. But you can still find Jiangsu Ragmagna written on an electrical box in Fangwei City, but the community of the finals has written it as an Easter egg to Arc, because this map was released in Season 8, where the official release of Arc Raiders took place at the same time. So it was a good little Easter egg to Jiangsu Ragmagna being present in Arc Raiders. Yeah, there's one tiny, whiny detail I haven't gotten to yet, and that's the Fora First logo, which it appears everywhere. Like, I don't have many photos, but it's on cargo containers, I believe. It's on a lot of cosmetics in both the finals and Arc Raiders. This is the only thing where I'm like, maybe, potentially. But Ivada hasn't been mentioned once, and the 401st is a subdivision of Ivada. So whatever the 401st logo is on tends to be owned by Ivada. It doesn't make sense to Arc Raiders why the 401st is here, unless either Ivada does exist and hasn't appeared yet, or the 401st means something entirely different that hasn't been described yet. There's nothing describing what the 401st is in Arc Raiders, if it is something entirely different. But it is the same sticker. Androids. This one isn't really misinformation. I haven't seen anyone claim this is fact, but the androids and Arc aren't related. There's no immediate connections. I mean, you'd assume the two are connected because most of the androids have white armor on their legs and across some parts of their body, and wasps have light armor, which is also white. But wasps in the first wave didn't have that armoring. Nearly all Arc in the first wave were shiny chrome machines. The androids were around during and before the Exodus time period. This is back 100 years ago. They were working with society. They had posters all through Stellamontis. They had, for some reason, posters in Riventides. Like, were androids that present in Riventides? That's a theory I gotta get into. But, and the androids were actually a functioning part of society. Like I said, Stellamontis had posters, and Riventide has posters. It's all to do with their own well-being and awareness. Like, some posters raise quite a few questions. Like, why one poster mentions that androids can detect gas leaks. Unaware if gas leaks can affect a machine that much. So I assume that's they had sensors to warn human co-workers. Maybe they didn't flavor the gas or something. They do the thing to the gas to make it smell that. We're unaware if androids are capable of free thinking, but we are aware that they are capable of taking orders and following orders, as with a quest where an android kills a few staff members. You think that age rating there is just so you won't see blood and guts? Like, Ember, give us more dark quests. We want horror. This is an apocalypse where people die all the time. Lance is a super rare case. He is the only android with a human-like face, even if it was taken from a mannequin. I'm guessing not, though, because he has eyes. Like, actual robotic optics are placed in the face, under the shades. Like, sick-ass shades, by the way. He fought alongside Celeste and Shani as raiders during the first wave, and he has a lot of secret lore that makes him badass. Like, did you know he actually fights in a boxing ring in Speranza? Like, in the Codex entry, it says he attends the boxing ring. Like, can you imagine being a guy who's next in line and your opponent is made out of fucking metal? He's kicking your ass and turning you into one of those satisfying hydraulic press shorts. Stellamontis. Just to clear things up, because I've seen a lot of shared ideas for what Stellamontis was, it's not where the first arc came from. And shredders are not made at Stellamontis. No arc come from Stellamontis. And there's no evidence to support that theory. All arc drop from space. They are named arc because of the way they arc into orbit to be dropped. A big one that I know might hit a few strings is that there is no Stellamontis gun. The theory stems from a video that I won't name drop or mention, but dedicated people of the lore community know it very well. The theory stems from the idea that Stellamontis was a defense outpost against the Ark. It isn't. Stellamontis is a research and investment center. The gun itself is located in communications. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't call a weapon system the communications room. And Stellamontis was built over 100 years ago. Look, here is the original image that went widespread for calling it a gun. It's in an observatory dome. what tactical advantage does a gun have for being in an observatory dome staring at the sky? Like, it's an observatory. It's gonna look at the fucking sky. It's not a gun. I mean, there was a really cool theory I saw that the reason it's called communications is that it's not a telescope. It's a laser communication beam, which is what surveyors do now. They shoot up information into the sky. But it was a communication beam for people who are already in space, in the ships that left for the Exodus. So that's why it's called it's a cool theory. But the reveal trailer. This reveal trailer is 4 years old. A lot has changed since then. Even the story has changed. But to get the main thing out of the way first, this trailer isn't canon. Half the stuff in here alone we cannot confirm to have existed. This trailer was half retconned into the first wave because Celeste, Johnny, and Lance are all in here fighting. They're all raiders at this point. But things in here no longer exist. Like the Wasp in that trailer has this armoring on the front, which in the official art channel in the Discord, it's an old Wasp. But the first wave Wasp we find in game is just a metallic, rusted Wasp. Like, it's not completely canon. So the big one, yep, that one, he cannot be called canon. He is not in-game. He has no evidence anywhere. He doesn't exist. Like, I've codenamed him Titan, and I hope that doesn't take off. Nobody in here take that off. Look, this is just me, my placeholder name for it. It doesn't exist. The only thing we can call canon from the first wave is what we find in-game. Anything we can call canon in Arc Raiders must have proof of it existing in the official release date of the game. Like, any time from the release date, being October 30th, 2025, to now and ongoing future of the game is canon. That's not. It's in the past. Game's completely changed since then. We still don't have bathrooms, though. Like, back then, it was only an outside game. There was no indoor areas to be played in. The final impact. We have no official thing for what this is. But off the last chapter with the reveal trailer, that thing doesn't exist, and nothing crawls out of the impact. So, we don't know what this is, apart from it's only deployed when the Ark detect that there's a lot of human presence on the surface. And the impacts are them trying to get you off the surface, because being dangerously close knocks you straight out. And they deploy 3 of these, getting rapidly closer. Like, they could just deploy the 1, but I'm pretty sure it's a mercy thing. Like, nah, we don't want to get them off instantly. We're just gonna shoot them back underground. Like, if I wanted to kill them, I totally could, but nah. Every map has these 3 impacts, and the first one is always way off in the distance. The second one is drastically closer, and then the last one always hits the last extraction. Like, specifically the last extraction. The last available extraction, it will land on it. I mean, that is harder to tell in Stellar Montes, but still. Well, that's pretty much everything on my list. There's still a few misinformation gaps here and there, but that's all the major ones. Thank you for clicking on the video. If this video gets more than 1,000 views, I promised I will make another one of these. This took a long time to make, surprisingly. So, goodbye. Lance is a super rare case. He's the only android with a human face, even if and quite the problem he is. Look at that boy. He's thick. He's huge. Back to 2081, the Exodus. we're gonna put 6 years on either side just to give us a rough F. Blah, 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 blah. Now, there are a few defenses against this, like the most common one being, what if the finals takes place in space? Which, I guess, bro, but like,